AAFES is the Army Air Force Exchange Service and is responsible for running the post exchanges and expresses on military installations. AAFES' mission is to provide authorized patrons quality goods and services at competitively low prices and to generate earnings to support MWR programs. I'm Jeff England, and I have Tamar Tracy, the Fort Polk AAFES General Manager, here with me, and you're listening to the Fort Polk Podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to this, because it is a podcast and you can download it and listen to it or just stream it live live, not live, but you can stream it online. And I've got Tamar Tracy, the General Manager of AAFES here on Fort Polk. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Miss Tracy.
Good morning, good morning. Everybody gets it wrong.
I know it's that two first names thing. It's like Bob, Billy, or whatever. Yeah. Oh no, Bobby Christine. He's on those posts. So the two first names. It always mixes me up.
Yeah.
So Tamar Tracy, nice to have you in here with me. That's so nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the invite. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's awesome to have good things come about, and AAFES is one of the staples of the military. Been around since the 40s or earlier.
Actually,
isn't
127 years.
127. Oh wow, 1895.
Yes,
that is some crazy time. I've seen some old pictures of some of the original AAFES things, like a trailer,
right.
or a shack right there. But
wherever there's a building, we operate from it.
And we've changed a lot. We just got a new vendor in the PX, a new restaurant or food for lunch and stuff.
We did.
That's some good stuff right there. I've had this. It's Get to Kraken.
Yes.
Get to Kraken, a local, yes. just like the smokehouse.
Yes.
And they've got the shellfish, the crabs, and the shrimp. I've tried their shrimp. I love it.
Yes.
And it's like a shrimp boil kind of thing, but
exactly.
it's not even peel and eat. You just eat it. It's awesome.
That's it.
It's awesome.
A bit of it.
And so we've got all kinds. I'd like to get through all of this just to let you know, or to let everyone know what AAFES is all about, and all the good things that have happened recently, all the ideas that are coming out, and that's why I'm glad to have you here today.
Good.
So we've got AAFES, and we've already gone over what it is. It's the Army and Air Force Exchange Service. I've been to Hawaii, and turns out that the Navy has something similar called the NEX.
NEX, yes.
And that's just for Navy.
But Naval Exchange.
So we're special. But I know you got, we could go to either one.
Yeah, we have two branches.
Yeah.
The Army and the Air Force.
Yeah, and they have the Navy and Marines, but they're kind of like the Navy. I mean, they get it signed by, their paychecks are signed by the Navy.
Yeah.
So. But the history of AAFES going back 127 years, that is way crazy.
Yeah.
And the advances that we've made with AAFES is absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And, over that 127 years, our mission has not changed, which is to service the military community. So one thing about our service to the community, our motto is we go where you go. So when our soldiers deploy, we're right there with them.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing you in Hungary and in Bosnia. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah, Iraq, Afghanistan, South Africa. I mean, wherever our troops are, we're going to be right there, with our troops. But many of our customers, they have that emotional connection with the exchange. And really, once those individuals retire, they hang on to that emotional connection, and they understand, why we're there to support them. And when they come to our facilities, they go down memory lane. Some of the older, retirees will go down memory lane and say, well, I remember you when you were in Japan, or I remember you in Korea.
Oh, yeah, I remember Korea, too.
So it's great to hear those old stories from
it's great.
Yeah.
When I was in Korea, they had, that's actually where I bought my first PC.
Okay.
I had a computer before that, but there was a ColecoVision Atom. So that doesn't really count, but it kind of counts because it was a computer, but it wasn't. I don't consider it a PC.
Right.
But my first PC, I bought it at the exchange in Korea.
Oh, okay.
At Kunsan, and it was back in 1996, and it had Windows 95. It came with Windows 95. It was already updated from Windows 3.1, and it was so
State
cool.
of the art back then.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And then we worked it out, or AAFES worked it out to where they got us internet over there. It wasn't even. Before it was internet, they had a dial-in just to get some email.
Okay.
And everyone was excited until a big file came through and locked you up because you're only allowed on it for a little while. And then AAFES worked with AT&T and got internet service over there.
Okay.
And that was so cool because that's when online gaming just started. And I mean, it was dial up, but it still worked. I mean, I was able to stream audio before all these laws and rules and stuff. I was getting straight radio from the United States over there. Okay. And it was so much fun. It was fun. And but AAFES was there right along.
Yes.
And there were rations. Mm-hmm. We were only allowed to buy a certain amount of things.
Right.
Like over at
cigarettes
the commissary, we were only allowed to buy a certain amount of oxtails, a certain amount of
really?
Yeah, because that's a delicacy over there.
Oh, interesting.
So people would buy them and go downtown. And same with Levi's. Levi's, we were only allowed to buy a certain amount of Levi's every so often because people would take them downtown and sell them. You get them at the PX for $10-$20, and then you take them downtown and sell them for $50 to $100. And it's like, so there was a black market. So wherever there was a black market, they had to put limits on it.
Yeah, black market, and nowadays it's online at eBay.
Yeah, eBay. It's like, hey, can I get your autograph? Yeah, just make it out to eBay. But the history goes back to the 1890s, and that is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And, we look at our history and we compare it to today, and much of what we do, our stock assortment, for example, is constantly evolving. We started off with just selling the daily essentials. For those soldiers back then. And we continue on today with those daily essentials. However, we're constantly adding on to our stock assortment, and we'll remove some items that are not selling, that are not as popular as we thought, and then we'll bring in some other items, based off of our customers' comments. And we have a customer comment program, which is called the Customer Survey Index, or CSI survey.
And that would be a great way to let your voice be heard, to bring
Absolutely.
In all of these these products that everyone wants. Oh, I want Louis Vuitton. It's like, are you going to pay for Louis Vuitton? But I mean just you got to fill out you got to let your voice be heard, and AAFES listens.
Yes. You got to let us know. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from the customer. We want to hear not only the bad things, but we do also want to know what we're doing right. So those surveys are vital because it is the voice of the community. Now, we may not be able to get everything that customers want, but once those surveys are completed and it goes to headquarters for review to our marketing department, our merchandising department, it is taken very seriously. And as they look at each of the categories and they look at the demographics of that specific installation, they do what they can in order to bring in those different brands, that everybody's wanting. So it's been interesting just over the course of the years just to see how, our merchandise has changed, with the with our competitors outside the gate, and with industry standards, so it's just been really interesting over the couple of years that we've made changes even through the pandemic, things that we had, the daily essentials that we were selling during the pandemic. Basically, we sold out every single day, but our buyers did a fantastic job. They did a phenomenal job of just getting us just the bare essentials for our soldiers that were coming in and still needing, those specific items, in addition to the hand sanitizer and the paper towels. And
I'm still trying to figure out why everybody bought up all the toilet paper.
I don't know.
It's like there's somebody out there with a garage full of toilet paper saying, "You need any?"
We put limits on that too.
So What, or do you have anything that you just recently brought in that was a direct result from the survey?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Old Navy. We just brought in Old Navy, and we just brought in American Eagle brands as well. So those two major brands.
And that was because people were making their voice heard through the survey.
Absolutely, yes. They're wanting what they're seeing outside the gate. Well, not so much here.
Not so much here. I want Kmart.
Right. So when we're bringing in these brands, we're letting our customers know we're listening to you. Same thing. This is a little bit older. Michael Kors, prestige handbags, Coach prestige handbags. That's a result as well. So we are working diligently to bring in these brands who are interested, in serving the military community. So it's not so easy to go to a brand and say, hey, we want you. There's more conversation that has to, take place. But we're always excited when somebody's interested, in wanting to capture, that military community.
You could just send Uncle Sam in there and say, I want you.
That's yeah. I think we can make that happen.
So the overall mission is to supply, help out the troops and supply them with retail goods and stuff like that. But the PX is only one store.
Right.
Out of, like, here you've got, don't forget the gas stations.
Don't forget, right.
And, I'm old school, so I still call them shopettes. Even though the 24-hour shopette is no longer a 24-hour shopette.
But yes.
It's the main express.
It is.
See, I know the words. I hate change. So we've got the main express, and we've got Express 2,
which is now a fueling station. So that's
that's a 24-hour unmanned fueling station.
Yep.
And then we've got the AAFES 3, which is the mini mall. No, is that North Fort?
3 is North Fort.
So that's the one with diesel.
Yes.
And then we've got Express 4 with the mini mall. And that's got Firestone and the Smoothie King. Is that still there?
Correct.
And I believe something else. Well, they're remodeling the shopette itself, or the Express itself. And you used to have a barber shop in there. Is that that was removed?
That was removed.
Yeah, so everything's been upgraded at the or just recently remodeled at the main PX with the barber shop, correct?
Yes. Yeah, they went to an image upgrade. I do want to add 2 additional express locations.
We got
which
more
don't
expresses?
sell fuel. So one is in the hospital.
Oh, I don't go to the hospital, so I didn't know that there was an express in there.
Next to the barber shop. And then the troop store, the North Fort troop stores. I
forgot. That's the one with Pizza Hut.
Express. No, that one, Express 3 on Chaffee Road. Oh, yes.
No,
next to Pizza Hut, yes.
Yeah, next to Pizza Hut.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have 6 express locations.
And also up at that same place on North Fort, you have the food trailers.
We do.
The food trailers and the food trucks up there. And you guys are in charge of stuff like that, right?
We are. Our services.
I love these food trucks. I think that is probably one of the best things that has happened when it comes to the food.
Right. And they're very versatile too.
Exactly.
They more than likely they're going to be open when we don't have a training rotation. We actually have 2 of them that pretty much stay open when there's no training rotation. But when we do have those rotations, they're up and running.
Oh yeah.
And other food truck vendors are interested in going to North Fort. We have a limited space. So we can't fit everybody there, but when we do find a new food truck vendor, they already know about North Fort and serving the troops out there. But there's only so much we can do. So, but it's great to see the interest, in the food trucks, and they've been doing a great job in serving our military, and they love it. They love the connection.
The only thing I don't like about the food trucks is I never know where they're going to be. It's like, well, there's one over by the hospital today. There's one in the main express today. It's like, oh, where are they today?
Yeah.
So you have to follow them on Facebook. It's like, we're going to be here. It's like a secret event. Now, the the PX and the Express, they don't charge tax.
Correct.
And that is a big savings that's a minimum of 10% right there from downtown. So you're saving on tax, except, and this is one of my pet peeves and one of my big complaints about AAFES, is the gas.
Correct.
The gas is taxed, and the explanation to me was because it's taxed before we even get here, and the justification for it is because the cars that we're filling up with gas are still using local roads, and we still have to help out with maintenance of the local roads, which is done through the taxes. And
that is true, right? So the exchange does, or AAFES does, still pay taxes, on the fueling. We have had questions before as to why we cannot remove that tax, and by law, that's just not something that we're able to do.
That's one of my questions, always.
Yes.
Always. It's like,
but you're right. We don't charge tax on anything else, and on top of that, we have price matching as well to help with the pricing.
So that's an instant 10% savings over.
Sure.
And
you use your military star card at the Express locations, and you get
10% more, or
5 cents off on a daily basis. 5 cents off, and then when we have holidays such as November the 11th, Veterans Day, it'll be 11 cents off a gallon.
Oh, that's the gas. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's like when I use my star card, I use it almost exclusively for the food court. Because I get 10%. I get 10% off the food court, and that's nice. And then we have the mall area of the PX, which has the Starbucks and the GameStop,
right,
and the clothing sales in there.
Right, military clothing. We've got the main barbershop.
The main barbershop.
There.
I guess the beauty shop closed down.
Beauty shop did close January of this year.
Yeah, that was disappointing to my mother-in-law.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was made aware of that, and you know what? The customers were very vocal, on that, but they were vocal after the process. After we'd already shut it down.
That's too bad.
So it is unfortunate. I remember I grew up with the exchange. I still reference it as AAFES. Even though we did a name change, years ago. But I grew up with AAFES, and I remember going to the beauty shop. My mother was a services business manager for 48 years.
Oh wow.
With the exchange, she just retired, and she ran the beauty shop. So,
that is so cool.
I have a lot of history. A
lot of history.
So it was heartfelt. Shutting them down, but and we did look at other options in trying to bring in someone else to keep that service, but yeah.
Well, maybe and you're still open for it. It's not like anything is set in stone all the time.
No, we're looking for that specific location. We're looking at possibly putting in a dental clinic.
Ooh.
So that's at Congress. That's we're waiting for congressional approval on that. It may not come through. If it does not come through, then we'll have to look at some other avenues. But yeah, so right now that's kind of the direction that we're steering at for that specific location. And then we've got another location, which is where the flower shop used to be. We temporarily ran Starbucks out of that location as we were renovating, the Starbucks. So that location is available as well. And for that area, we're looking at bringing medical equipment. Generally, when you have a clinic, a dental clinic, you'll have a medical equipment business as well in the same model. So that's something that we're looking at as well.
Now, I was down at Keesler for almost a year, and that's in Mississippi, down in Biloxi, and they have the exact same exchange floor plan as us, except on one side is the pharmacy.
Yes.
There's a pharmacy, a drive-through pharmacy and a walk-in pharmacy on one side of the, it's like behind the food court.
Okay.
And then on the other side is attached the commissary.
Oh, okay.
So it's one huge complex, and it's right there for everything. And it's like, oh, wow. And then you walk in there, and I recognized it immediately. It's like, wait a minute, I know where everything is. So apparently this PX is the standard model for military installations worldwide.
Sure. And the new facility that was just opened at Fort Sam, which is where I came from, it mirrors that as well, that layout as well. We have the pharmacy, at the right,
Nice.
on the right-hand side. And, and then, of course, it flows with the medical equipment and then barbershop. The only thing is they have a beauty shop, and so on. So, yes, there is a general layout, that's kind of repetitive, that you'll see. And, that's kind of important as well, because we want customers to be familiar, with their surroundings as they're doing their shopping. Same thing when you go into the main stores. Oftentimes you'll see the same layout in main stores.
It helps
as well. It does help. You
kind of like going into a Home Depot or a Lowe's. It's like, okay, I know where everything is.
Yeah. you may go to, I'll say one of our competitors. I won't mention the name. And depending upon where you're at, you have to figure out, okay, well, wait a minute. Let me think where that department is at.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Now, I did mention earlier that some of your profits and some of your dividends, I would have to say. They help out MWR.
Yes.
And explain what exactly are you guys helping out with, and how does that work?
Sure. So 100% of our earnings, basically after all the bills are paid, whatever is left, 100% of that goes back to the military community. Okay, so it's reinvested. So it can go, that monies can be used to upgrade, daycare centers, fitness centers, bowling alleys, anything that's recreational. That money is used to fund those recreational programs. So our goal is to earn as much as we possibly can during the course of a fiscal year so that we can hand over, a large check that says, here's our contribution to the military community. So as we're looking at our daily operations and we're looking at how we can be more efficient, how we can save more money on our side, so that at the end of the year, we're looking and saying, okay, we beat last year. We always want to beat the previous year. We've had some hiccups with, obviously, the pandemic was a major factor in that. And there are other things that come into play that may affect personnel costs. We have the executive order that we had to execute this year. So that's increased our personal costs. So that will actually affect the dividends, these dividends. So the contributions that we make, they're called dividends. And these dividends are what are assigned to the installations. And so we do not determine how that money is distributed. But what we do is we earn it. We through the sales of our merchandise as our customers shop at any of our AAFES facilities, that those funds are generated and it goes back. It's filtered back into the community.
Well, that alone right there is plenty of reason to shop at the PX.
Sure.
And in addition to the no tax and right. price matching and all that. Mm-hmm. And now I know my favorite store is the Class 6. And what I've learned there is that if they don't have something in there, I can ask them for it and they can special order it for me.
They can, yes.
Can they do the same thing in the PX?
They cannot. So it's
okay.
a different. It's a different.
So it's
animal.
A little different.
Yes, it's a different animal in our retail facilities. So in the main store, many of our categories have what we call planograms, and basically those planograms determine what type of merchandise is on it and the location where that item is on the shelf.
Okay.
So when we're looking at our stock assortment, our buyers are looking at our stock assortment and they're revamping, say, for 2023. They may look at a planogram and say, okay, well, the sales volume on that really hasn't been that great. Customers are not really interested in that item. We'll remove that item, clearance it out, and we'll replace it with a brand new item. So because it is really controlled, we're not able to really place an order. Now, if we're out of an item, we can go into our system and look at any other exchange worldwide, and we can see if another exchange has it. And then, therefore, we can pay for shipping. We'll pay for the actual shipping to get that item to that customer.
And now will that go to the store for us to pick up or directly to their house?
No, it'll go to the store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unless they, if they use shopmyexchange.com, of course, they can have it delivered to their home.
Well, that's online, so there you go. Right. Now, what exactly is the business of AAFES?
So the business of AAFES, the way I always explain it, there's 3 categories under the umbrella of AAFES. We've got retail, we have services, and then we have food. So the retail is what we were just talking about, the main store, the Class 6, military clothing, all the express locations are under that umbrella to include the theater is part of that as well. And then we've got services, which are what we had just discussed was the businesses inside the mall in the storefronts. So all of that is services. Services is the one that they create the contracts, the short-term contracts and the long-term contracts for our vendors. And then we've got food, which is in the food court. So all three of those categories, and then of course is retail as well. And so all three of those categories are crucial in generating those funds that go back to those dividends that we just recently discussed, that's reinvested back into the military community. So I always like to break it down and let customers know that there's three different functions, three different types of businesses within the exchange. And most of them don't realize that it is broken down in that manner. And it's the same on every installation worldwide.
And you're in charge of all three.
And I am in charge of it.
Now, you said, everyone that's allowed, authorized to use AAFES. Now, I know that active duty and their spouses and dependents, and National Guard and Reserve, and retirees.
Yes.
But there's one other, or at least one other, that I know of. And that has just recently, within the last 5 years, I would imagine, or less, veterans.
Yes.
Veterans. So if you served and got out honorably,
right,
you can still use the PX.
Correct.
And the Shopettes, or the Express.
Yes.
Except...
Yes.
You can't buy beer.
You cannot purchase.
That is so wrong. You can buy everything but that.
Well, you cannot purchase. You do have limited. You have limited shopping privileges. Okay, and that includes the spirits as well, liquor as well, wine, beer, and tobacco. So they are not authorized to purchase those. About I want to say 3 years ago, we welcomed our veterans back home. And we opened our doors and said, hey, like you said, if you were honorably discharged, and that's the key word, honorably discharged, then, you're authorized to shop at our exchange locations. The other thing I want to mention about that, they do need to have the VA card, which they get from the Veterans Administration.
Yeah, and that's pretty easy to get.
That is pretty easy to get, but on that ID card, there, if it says service connected, which explains your benefits. We look for that service connected on that card as well, which allows them to purchase.
The Class 6 stuff.
So,
see, I'm lucky. I'm kind of like I fall into all the categories. So yeah, so it doesn't bother me. But I do know somebody around here that I won't mention their name.
Yes, I know who that is.
But now, people that just work here on Fort Polk or that are on Fort Polk, they can go into it's my understanding that they can go into the Express and grab a drink or grab some chips without any kind of privileges, and that's okay.
So this works two ways. To answer your question, yes. So last year on May the 1st, we had what we call the CAT card expansion. So any individual that works on an installation that has an active CAT card that you use to get on the installation can now shop at the exchange. Whereas before the answer was no, unless it was an emergency or something of that nature. But now they have limited shopping privileges as well. So they too cannot purchase the beer, wine, liquor, tobacco. But they can purchase anything else. So if they have that CAT card. In some instances, if they don't have the CAT card, say example, I'll use a vendor as an example, may not have the CAT card, but they have a pass, to get on base. Can they purchase at the exchange? Yes, and it's things that they may need to use for their business, or and they may purchase, sandwiches, beverages, things of that nature. So over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, we've actually expanded. And in that expansion is also Coast Guard as well, because before, Coast Guard, was not authorized to.
I did not know that.
Well, so now it's open to them as well.
Nice.
Yes. So we've really have expanded, our customer base, by providing, the merchandise that we do have available. We never want to forget our veterans. We never want to forget our retirees, the ones that earn the right to shop at the exchange. So we always keep that in the forefront of our mind. But times are changing, and sometimes you have to make an adjustment.
Absolutely.
To the way things,
Absolutely. I've always been under the impression it was like immediate consumption kind of stuff for Express.
Initially, it was, yes.
Yeah, so I tried using that with the beer. They didn't like that. They didn't go for it. No, it's like you can't buy the beer. It's like for its immediate consumption. But there's other programs that you guys also do, and I like it. I like these programs that you help out with, and one of them that I really liked is Make the Grade.
Mm-hmm. You made the grade?
You made the grade. Mm-hmm. And
this is, You made the grade. This is a great program. I grew up military. My father was Air Force, retired out of the Air Force.
Awesome.
And, we're constantly PCSing. Right, we're constantly changing schools, constantly changing friends.
That's kind of rough on kids,
It really is, it really is. Now it may be a little bit easier because you now have social media, so you can keep, in contact with your friends. But back in the day, that was tough, just changing constantly. But the You Made the Grade program is designed to just reward, military children for their hard work. They're dealing with parents that are deploying, constantly. They're dealing with parents that, sometimes both parents are active duty service members. And so they're going through a lot with these PCS moves and with their parents, working these odd hours and deploying, and so there's a lot that's placed on them, and so this is a great way to reward them. So You Made the Grade program, the way it works is all they have to do is bring their report card to customer service at the main store, and based on their grade, if they have an A average, then they'll get a $20 gift card, exchange gift card. If they have a B average or lower, B or C average, then they'll get a $10 AAFES gift card. And then in addition to that, they have a little coupon sheet that allows them to get, free meal or, discounts on certain food products inside the main store, discounts at also the food court as well. So we've revamped the program this year. It used to be just a $5 gift card, and we felt, based off of information from the general managers, the main store managers, the headquarters got some feedback, and we said, we need to offer a little bit more. So this year we changed it to the $20 gift card. When they do bring their report card to the customer service, they'll receive the gift card, and on the back of the gift card is an entry form. So if they fill out the entry form and mail it to the address that's on the back of the card, they'll be entered to win a $2,000 exchange.
Oh, nice.
So our goal is to have a winner from Fort Polk.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
We don't want the winners from the larger exchanges. We want winners from Fort Polk. So, the parents, we really encourage them, to bring their kids to customer service and let them get that card and make sure that they do mail it in.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, $2,000.
$2,000. Yes, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Mm-hmm. And the grade level, it doesn't matter what grade they're in.
It doesn't matter, up to 12.
Could you imagine a third grader coming in with straight A's and I won $2,000. Yeah. I'm going to go spend it on candy.
But that program also, there are some kids that are homeschooled. That's fine. They still have to have
a grade
that shows a grade. And then there's some students that don't get the ABC grades. They may get satisfactory, S.
It has to be an outstanding.
So
an O.
An O or an S. Satisfactory. Yes. So we accommodate that as well.
Yeah, my grades in elementary school, the lower elementary was OS and U, and then I believe fourth grade we switched over to A through F, which is really sad because A, B, C, and D, all alphabetical, and they don't actually reflect what the grade is. Mm-hmm. But then we skip E, and we go straight to F, which stands for fail. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, E, what excellence? That actually wouldn't flow.
So, no, it wouldn't. No, I guess not. It's like exceptional. Except you. No, everybody passed except you. Now, there's some of the things that I've noticed from PX to PX. They do change, or they do offer different things. And our exchange offers a lot more than some of the exchanges that I've been to around the world. And that includes the sporting section, which has the firearms section, which is pretty awesome. And once again, you'll match prices, so we don't have to worry about that. And then there's no taxes.
Correct.
And then everything is great. And then we have the weights and the supplementals. No. Yeah,
Sports
you do.
nutrition. Yes.
And then you have the all the fishing gear. All the fishing gear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Canoeing, we have that as well.
Everything over there. And furniture. You got the furniture in there. I got a huge couch from the PX.
Oh, okay.
And we had to get rid of it. It was just too big. It's like, oh, wow, this is huge. And, of course, the clothing. That's where I like getting some pants and Levi's, and I go through those like you wouldn't believe.
We have a B-Fit as well.
The B-Fit.
B-Fit for, Nike, Under Armour.
Oh, nice. And the electronics section is very nice. The TVs in there, can't go wrong with OLED. No.
Can't.
No.
We recently added a smart home section.
Wow.
So for anyone that's interested in wanting to connect their smartphone, to their devices at home, we now have that capability as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
We have those products in.
I'd like an automated home. Every time I think of my automated home, I think of the old Looney Tunes commercial or cartoon with the push button home, where you just push a button, a robot comes out and vacuums your floor. It's like, wait a minute, we have that now.
Oh, like the Jetsons, yes.
Yeah. And there's something else. Did you know that this year, August of this year, George Jetson was born?
Really?
Yes, they figured it out. The fans of the Jetsons figured it out, and the future is now. George Jetson was born this year. So...
Interesting.
We need to get our flying cars.
Yeah, thought we'd be there by now, but yeah.
Yeah, so 2015, I was supposed to have flying cars and hoverboards, and no, it's not working.
Yeah, we're behind the curve.
We are.
Yeah.
And now, I also, one of the last things that I want to touch on, because AAFES is it's huge, it's worldwide, it's a big part of Fort Polk, big money produce or involvement in both income, outgoing, all that stuff. But it's also a big employer.
Yes.
And there are so many different places. And what I've noticed is that you guys are some of the highest paid employers around. Like when Slim Chickens was coming in, one of the newer food eateries, which is actually great. My wife just had some chicken mac and cheese.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, and it's like, oh, this is so good. But you guys are offering like
starting at
$15 an hour.
Yes. So and that's
and that's in the food court.
No, that's in retail.
Oh, that's in retail.
Food court. We're starting them in at $17.25.
Oh my! Man, I started off at $3.35 an hour, and I was happy to have it.
My times have changed. Oh. Yes. So our food court, they start off at $17.25, and then retail, based on experience, will start off at $15 an hour. So that was actually commenced. That started the beginning of this year, based on the executive order that I mentioned earlier. Yeah. So we really pushed it out. We did it in 4 phases. The 4th phase was finalized in August, September, time frame of this year. We started off with the associates first. Getting their pay increases first, and then moved on up to supervisory positions, and then some of our junior managers as well. So it was done in phases. There was many conversations that had to be held with the union, just to make sure we were doing this right. And but yeah, so it's good that we can increase the pay and help our associates out. Cost of living, increases, and so you kind of got to move in the same direction, and increase the pay. And so we're happy that we were able to do that.
And now, the military members have their military job, and a lot of spouses come work for AAFES. When they PCS, can you get a transfer?
You can.
So you can PCS along. Your job can PCS along with your spouse's PCS.
Well, let me say your employment. Because, Your employment, because generally what happens is if you let HR know that you're PCSing to the next installation, they'll contact the HR office there, and they'll see what they have open. So, and the reason I say employment and not position, because you may not necessarily get that position.
But you'll still be employed.
But you'll stay,
Nice.
Right, you'll stay inside that system,
And
inside our system.
And if somebody wants to come work for AAFES, how would they go about it? Is there a QR code we could scan over audio? No. No, but you can.
Actually, our IT is awesome, and they're working on that right now.
Oh, nice. It's like. So where would they go to apply other than in person?
Right. If you click on go to shopmyexchange.com and go down to the bottom where it says careers. Click on careers, and that'll take you straight to the portal. You can upload your resume, and you can also check out the benefits that we offer as well. It also covers the type of training that we provide. There's also a separate There's a separate button for spousal employment as well. It talks about the benefits of being an employee with the exchange as a spouse. We try to focus a lot on that. For us here at Fort Polk, 42% of our employees are spouses. So that's a major important piece of detail for us, because our spouses, they can relate to our customers.
Yeah.
Not that we don't want civilians employing with us. We need them as well. But our spouses, what better, individuals to have on staff when they can understand, what it's like to PCS. They can understand, what it's like. You're moving from house to house. Every military installation housing is different, and it would be nice to have the same, size rug, or, whatever the case may be, and use that same rug, as you continue on from, installation to installation. But our military spouses, they can relate. And that's a key thing for us, making sure that we can have people that just make that shopping experience, comfortable.
And you do have openings over there, right?
We do have openings. Yeah.
So go ahead and apply. Shopmyexchange.com.
And click on careers.
Down at the bottom.
Yes. And you can select Fort Polk. It'll bring up every single installation worldwide, but if you select Fort Polk, it'll show you what positions are available, and that'll include food and retail as well.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, Thank you, Tamar Tracy, General Manager. Look at that. General Manager AAFES right here at Fort Polk. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
I thank you.
And I hope to have you back in sometime to talk some more. We can get more information, get maybe some sales in there, and see what's going on.
Sure.
And I appreciate you coming in and being on the Fort Polk podcast. And I'm Jeff England, and we'll be listening to you later. Tune in again.